So now we're into the third stage, which is actually sort of two elements, and it's sensory motor. So one is that the verbal communications are starting to break down. So they depend a lot more on sensory input, what they see, what they hear, what they smell, what they taste, and what they feel, physically feel. And what you've also got is they will have their gross motor skills, which is walking, one-step repetitive actions, pushing, pulling, lifting and putting down to some sort of level if the balance is still there. And they will still be intact. Some of the fine motor skills are going to go. The other problem with the guys that hit the sensory motor stage are that their concentration spans start to break down. So anything you're going to provide them has to be fairly short and sweet. If you can get someone in the sensory motor stage to sit with you for about 5 minutes, you've done a really good job. Quite often, the guys that walk with a purpose or in old money wander are in that stage. They will ramble for miles around the home. And so a lot of the times your activities, if you're specific with those people, will be done one-to-one, and they'll be done on the hoof. And you might be talking to them, smiling with them, walking around the garden with them, whatever else. They'll quite often latch onto somebody else as well. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but they'll latch to a particular person, another resident, and follow them round all the time. So I'm not overly sure whether that's some sort of remnant of old memories lost in long-term memory, but it sort of gives you an indicator of perhaps what you're dealing with. What works right across the board, but particularly into this stage, is some sort of music-based activity. If you're going to latch onto them and keep them for any time, it needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be, but it's helpful if it is music-based. Other than that, it's about providing stimulation. Also having realistic expectations about how long your activity is going to last. And what you really shouldn't be doing is packing these guys into sessions with the other two guys further up the line in the pre-diagnosis. For the other three sort of stages, it is really frustrating to have someone get up in the middle of a session, move stuff around, walk in, walk out. And I generally do not want to be around someone who's in the sensory motor stage. And for the person themselves, you're not actually providing person-centered activities. So the activity you're providing doesn't actually meet their needs. So it's sort of it's a three-way lose. You lose as an activity provider. The group that you're trying to do the work with loses because they lose the continuity of the session. And basically the individual in that stage loses because you're not actually providing anything that's fit for them. So I hope that helps, and we talk about the last stage in the next video.